Thank you for being here, Chairman Texall.
Zagidats, Marcus, thank you for the wonderful introduction that took a long time, especially the year I was born. I think I've been around several terms, and each one is well, I wouldn't use the word interesting, but I would use the word challenging. More challenges, it seems like, every year. I was really proud. I told my Uncle Ed Hall, sitting in the back of the room over there, that we recently inducted his father and my grandfather, Jim Hall, into the Fort Berthold Cowboy Hall of Fame. And he was a tribal chairman in 1958, so I became a chairman 40 years to the date. But when I was young, I remember not being able to play with the kids and having to sit and pay attention to what the elders were talking about. He was talking about, in our Hidatsa language, he was talking about the federal government has failed to live up to its trust responsibilities and lied to our people when they flooded our homelands, 156,000 acres. And that they were talking about compensation. That was in 1948, so that was 58. He was chairman. That was 10 years later. And Congressman Kramer, I remember testifying before Senator Ben Nighthorse Campbell and Senator Dan Inouye, the late Agawa Guthish. And that's our Hidatsa name for him, one who helps. And what two great champions. But and Gerard, your brother Fred, was right beside me, and we were testifying, and we looked at each other, and we just kind of non-verbally, we just knew, it was like, why are we still here this many years, 65 years later? And so I said that right on the record, and I said, Senators Inouye and Campbell, we shouldn't be here. Our grandfathers were here, our fathers were here. Now we're the third generation fighting for a clinic, fighting for a hospital, or fighting for a school. And and so it made, you know, it really helped make the values as a tribal leader that I have become. I never forget those things, and actually I keep that picture of Austin Gillette here, former chairman of our tribe, and now a special trustee at the Fort Berthold Agency. His uncle is George Gillette, that's crying in that infamous picture, so I keep that in our chambers, in our office. And Tim Purdon, our U.S. Attorney, is nodding his head. He's had several meetings with us, so it's to constantly remind not only us today, but for future generations of you must never quit. Because if you're not vigilant in building your nation, somebody will take it from you. And so we've been very blessed with the oil and gas development. It's a huge challenge, but you just get up every day and your belief in the Creator, Dare Marafbaitia, the Supreme God, and you thank each day for that blessing, and you try to get your strength to carry out the day. Somebody will have an oil spill. Somebody will run over somebody in a semi-truck. We have over 15,000 semis that are registered through our tribal DOT. Somebody might fall off a drilling rig that day. There'll probably be an accident. That's just the fact of the matter. That's it. So your tribal compliance officers really need to be trained. And so as a former educator, I really believe in that training, that certification, Dr. Gipp, that needs to continue. It's ongoing. Safety, you can't take shortcuts on safety. If you do, somebody's going to get hurt in this industry. And now our roads are a lot of construction. Congressman, that's why I was a little bit late. The other part, I couldn't get out of the office fast enough. And we actually did. We actually contracted with a helicopter, so we got a helicopter service out of Mandan. I mean, otherwise you're late for every meeting if you don't fly over the construction. You'll sit in a pilot car and you'll wait in line. And so we're learning and constantly learning as this goes forward. We have our tribal council is really working on balancing development with environmental protection. And of course, as you may or may not know, we have an environmental spill code, an environmental protection code. When EPA doesn't help you, or BIA doesn't help you, or BLM doesn't help you, you have to do it as a sovereign tribal nation. You have to figure it out and find a way. And so third offense for dumping is $1 million fine. You know, and people with $1 billion in your pocket will tell you, oh, we're not dumping on your reservation. You have nothing to worry about. Oh yeah, you are. You are dumping. That's why we put this in place. And so those monies really fund our compliance, and they have to get certified. Our staff have to get certified. What do they call those things? They're kind of like socks. They call them, they're like fracking or hydrofracking socks. And you'll find them outside dumpsters, and in oil companies that are in a hurry just throw them. But they got radioactive material, so people we have cleanup day today, and you just can't clean them up with your bare hands. So they call the environmental office or oil and gas office, and they're certified into disposal, proper disposal, and a certified disposal site for those kind of radioactive material. And you can't keep them around livestock or by drinking ponds or dams as well. So there's a lot to it that our staff are really focused on. I've been a real advocate for trying to get the governor and the state legislature a bigger piece of our tax agreement. And I've told Senator Rich Wardner and House Majority Leader Al Carlson, if this impact was happening in Fargo, or if this impact was happening in Dickinson, I'd vote for you. I don't know why you don't vote for us. The impact is not occurring on your community, it's occurring on our lands. And in order to safeguard the Missouri River, in order to protect drinking water, in order to protect human lives, we need to have these kind of codes and compliance officers in place. We need to have safe roads. We need to have fresh water, infrastructure, housing, let alone an oil and gas refinery, a pipeline, a drilling company. There's a lot of things our nation is facing that we're trying to do. And when a tax agreement that gives the state 61% of its revenue and the tribe only gets 39%, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that's not fair. And so there's just, how many hours left of the legislature? 48 hours or something like that? 48 hours. So I hope they don't go home without doing the right thing and getting a more fair tax agreement. If they don't, we'll fight another day. That's what you do. It's what our grandfather taught us. You don't go home and just say and give up and say, well, we lost. That can't be in your DNA. If it's not in your DNA, you're in the wrong business. I learned a little bit of that from Al Bortke over at University of Mary and Sister Thomas as well. And Father Shea, I don't really know you, but I was there before you were. But I heard you play basketball too. That's a good sign. And of course, Neil Culber and Don Miller. What can I say about them? They've been great friends for many years, and just real champions of University of Mary, and just really proud to see how it's turned out. And now that I'm the president of United Tribes Technical College, I've been I think a pretty good advocate. Dr. Gipp will tell me if I am or not. That's what kind of president he is. He just tells it like it is. If it's good for the college and I did okay, he'll tell me yes. If I didn't, he'll tell me I didn't. We're facing tough budget cuts in Congress. Congressman Kramer will be the first to say. Dr. Gipp will be the first to say. And I'm on the TBIC, the Tribal Interior Budget Council, and sequestration is a dumb way of doing budgeting. I don't know how to say it, Congressman, any other way. That's a dumb way of doing budgeting. It's like a shotgun going after a deer. If you got a single hollow shell, you get a headshot and you harvest, you save the meat. The shotgun, you ruin the meat. It hurts everything, and that's kind of how. It's kind of a bad example, but after we ate, but sorry about that. But that's how that's how bad sequestration is. So you won't forget what I'm talking about when I talk about sequestration. And I'm hopeful that Congress will pass a budget in 2014, because if they don't, it's 5.2% cut across the board like a shotgun. So Austin gets cut, BIA gets cut, education gets cut, roads get cut, HIP gets eliminated, oil and gas gets cut. Head Start is on a chopping block for next year. It's not in the 2014 budget. Head Start will be gone. Think how many young people have benefited from Head Start, you know. Think how many of, you know, your family members have gone through Head Start. Head Start is a great program, but that's how dumb, to me, how sequester. What do I know? I'm just a rancher from North Dakota, but hell, that's a dumb way of doing budgeting, you know. And there really needs to be a strategic approach on this. So if 2014, if Congress doesn't pass an 2014 budget, Tim Purdon gets, you know, the same thing. His budget gets cut, Austin's budget, Dave's, everybody's budget gets cut again, and some programs like Head Start will be chopped, whack, they'll be gone. And so these huge investments that have been made into humans, people, resources, crime, education will take a major hit, and it's hard to reverse that, because they're saying how much, Dr. Gipp, of a cut in 2014? I'm hearing like 8 to 9%. So it will basically double the impact of what's happened this year. So, you know, again, there really needs to be some commitment from Congress and the administration. You know, the president clearly has a huge role here that he has to step in and do what's necessary. You know, and just in our little world of oil and gas, we're in the middle of a boom. You know, we're not in the middle of a little bark. We're in the middle of a boom. And so when you're in the middle of a boom, all hands need to be on deck. You know, not just one finger. All hands need to be on deck. So they're having buyouts now for oil and gas. Well, it's all of the agency staff. They're having furloughs. And my understanding is that as of, I think it's May 19, Austin, is the memo. May 19, the memo says that every federal employee has to take a day off per pay period for 64 hours. And so we have an acting superintendent. So does that mean we get an acting superintendent? Or what does that mean? Because you can't hire a permanent superintendent. Travel is froze, hiring positions are froze, and Gerard, you came from the federal government, the parks, you know clear well what the implications are. And the inability to do jobs. I just seen the Army Corps is gonna now, they're not gonna cut grass on the parks. They don't have it in their budget, they said. Did you see that just the other day too? I mean, it's getting kind of ridiculous, you know? And so, anyway, if we have an acting superintendent, and we're talking about pipeline interconnect, or if we're talking about hydrofracking at different levels that need, you know, pipe and concrete casing tension, pressure tension at the maximum level, or PTCs, permits to construct pipeline interconnects, an acting superintendent has no idea what I just said. They have absolutely no idea. And if a pipeline, we had a fire in Mandaree at a pipeline station, and we got to it before it hit the pipeline. Our little fire department is certified for rangeland because that's what Bureau of Indian Affairs, grass fires. They're not certified for structural or pipeline. We called McKenzie County and we called Dunn County. Guess what the answer was, Tom? No, sorry, it's 11 o'clock at night. Sorry, we can't do it. That's what you face. And so we had to get our little grass fire trucks, and of course we called oil companies and we said, hey, this is your building, get out here. You know, all hands need to be on deck. You need to get out here. This is, you know, if that fire gets into that pipeline and explodes. But that's what I'm talking about. That's what sequestration does. It gets you an acting superintendent who has no clue about the depths of a pipeline, the pressure, and then, of course, potential fire. It could be a major, major hazard that nobody in our tribal nation has any idea of the potential loss of life or limb for if something like this really happens. So sequestration, I'll say it again, is a dumb way of doing budgeting. It just hurts all the way around, and I can go on and on about that. But I want to talk a little bit about the college and finish with the scholarships. Dr. Gipp, the number of miles that you have traveled to Washington, D.C. over the years clearly has made a difference at United Tribes College. Every meeting I'm with him, he stands up and all of the regions, there's 12 regions of the United States of Indian country, from the Northwest to the Northeast to Navajo. And when he brings up United Tribes College, he not only brings up this college, he brings up all tribal colleges. And so all of the other tribal chairmen have a lot of respect for this man and for what he's done over the years. He's truly a champion for education and for higher education, and I've actually seen him stop and talk to probably freshman students that don't know what degree program they're going to go in. So that's a sign of a true educational leader that will stop and take the time and visit with somebody about which program, or not knowing what they're going to major in or what their minor is going to be. So Dr. Gipp, I really want to commend you for all of that leadership that you have, and I hope you continue to work and advocate and being a champion on working with all of Indian country and not just our college, because it's really needed, and you're a role model for so many people. And these, we made a contribution and will continue to make a contribution to these scholarships and fellowships. And I asked our staff, Diane Hale and Karen Rabbithead, and where's Janet? Janet just will stay on you, Dr. Gipp, until it gets done. So we wanted to make sure we had a check, even though we were late, and you got good staff, and so my staff, they got it done too. We just knew that this was really a highlight. This dinner and this fellowship in your name is just scholarships is a big thing for us, and we want to be rich someday. We're still working at being rich, and we're going to keep working at it. And we're putting money away. We're managing our tribe's resources, to the best of our ability. And next year we'll be debt free. I don't know if the federal government will ever say that, but next year, Tom, our tribal nation will be 100% debt free. Tom Disselhorst worked on many projects with me. Austin Gillette did as well. And there was some lean years in those days. He didn't have any money, and you kind of had to rob from Peter to pay Paul in order to get things done. And who would have thought that this day would happen when we would actually be debt free? And we've set aside money in trust funds, and again, we're trying to manage to the best of our ability. Our tribe is on the brink, is on the bubble of self-sufficiency. So we're very appreciative of that honor. We got some big challenges with putting a refinery online and getting a pipeline. So we have a drilling company, a pipeline, and then a refinery, and that's full integration. And finally, we're really instilling that intertribal trade. And we had cleanup day, and all the lawyers, Tom, are talking about fancy agreements, so the nobody can challenge these agreements, and they were talking about maybe it's a treaty. And anyway, we just did it by word of mouth on this first deal. So we have cleanup day, and I didn't know Sisson and Wapaton, one of our other owners of the college, they make garbage bags. So we ordered 1,000. I said, why are we buying from Walmart, or why are we buying from wherever you buy garbage sacks? And I said, Chairman Shepherd, we want to get 1,000 from you, and we're not going to buy from anybody else. And everybody wants to buy our gas and our diesel when we're online next year. And so Spokane Tribe, White Earth Tribe, Colville Tribe, numerous tribes are wanting to buy all of our gasoline and diesel. And of course, we gotta cross state lines, so we gotta get our Philadelphia lawyers to kind of lawyer that up for us a little bit. But the bottom line is that it's going to be produced at an Indian nation, probably transported by Indian trucking and delivered or railed, delivered to another Indian nation. And we think that's good business. We're not afraid to undersell any other competitor out there. I don't care if they're Senex or they're Tesoro. Where are they at? Here we come. And then that's right. We're hey, our horse is fresh. Our horses, their horses are tired. Our horse is coming on the outside, and we're going to get him on that turn. We just got to ride that horse good. You know, and Cheyenne River has buffalo. I was talking to Chairman Keckler, and he said, Chairman, we got 1,000 head of buffalo, and we're going to cull 300. And I said, good, you missed our meeting. You missed our memo on intertribal trade. And what we're going to do is buy and sell from each other to the best of our ability. And he's got 300 head, so I said, we'll take them. We'll take all of them. We'll match the highest offer of anybody who's going to buy them from you. Really? And I said, we're good for it. I said, our check's good. We'll match the highest offer anybody. So we're going to buy 300 head from Cheyenne River on their buffalo. You know, and somebody, one of those 15 tribes that initially got together last week, we took a picture too, just like the old days. Because these trade routes, and Gerard didn't get into it, but I better not edge him on because he'll go for an hour. Gerard, these trade routes were thousands of years old, and he really knows. Gerard is a very astute and renowned scholar, and Indian scholar and Indian historian in Indian country, not just here. But these trade routes were established thousands of years ago. We're not doing nothing new. We're just going back and getting these trade routes open and going to buy and sell and trade with each other. And so all of these 15 tribes, after getting beaten ahead on sequestration, were just totally excited about intertribal trade and the possibilities of growing fresh food, buffalo, garbage sacks, oil and gas, corn, whatever it is that tribes make and produce. And you know, like Chairman Shepherd, he didn't have enough market. They can't make enough bags. But if we started a market for him, and if there's 15 or 20 tribes doing intertribal trade, man, he's got 20 times the market than he has today. So that's how that business is going to grow. I think it's a huge opportunity for us. We got a chance to help ourselves here, and I think we need to help ourselves, and we need to. And of course, when we get successful, then somebody's going to want to challenge it, and I think states will want to challenge us, and they'll want to try to tax. And so, Tom, we will need language that says this will be exempt from state taxation. As our budgets decrease, we need to have more revenue to run our nations, to build our nations. So we're going to need, Congressman Kramer, we're going to need some kind of a legislative vehicle to tag this on. And so we'll be knocking on your door along with Dave Gipp, and we'll be finding a place on that couch to do just that. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.